Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our monthly holistic meeting. This webinar, in a way, is very special because I'm going to present a tool that I came up with after experience of many, many years in my holistic practice and practicing what so-called body-mind medicine, which is the connection between the mind and the body. In order to use the tool that I'm going to present tonight, you really don't have to understand anything or believe or not believe. All you need to be successful to do it, whether taught body, mind, or consciousness teaching or personal growth, whatever you want to call it. In the prison system where I worked as a doctor, and I was doing or actually gave a lot of different trainings over the years. And what I observed that whenever we do intense training, and people took the training seriously, and people with healing that I most likely would never believe as a regular doctor they're possible. But I observed a lot of amazing healing from terminal illnesses to acute condition. When I started my full practice in holistic medicine in 1989, I always encourage my patient to use these consciousness tools. I noticed that patients that were a good patient, it didn't really matter if they believed or understood the philosophy or what's behind it. It didn't really matter. When they're so-called good patients, just follow instructions, follow directions, and use this consciousness tool. I've seen, again, amazing cases. And it's obvious to me over the years that patients that use those consciousness tools were doing much, much, much better, sometimes unexpectedly. So I use it and encourage people. I had several realizations during this year is that actually there's no one better way to use your consciousness for self-healing and self-improvement. Any tool that you use that focus your consciousness and anything different, even if it's a not necessarily positive tool or spiritual tool, just diverting your attention from something that bothers you in any way, consistently created healing and literally miracles. So what I realized is it doesn't really matter what you do, as long as you do it consistently and long enough, you will see amazing things happening. What I learned that over the years working with thousands of people, that your personal belief really determine your happiness, health, or determine your suffering and illness. Those beliefs, so-called positive and so-called negative, will determine if your life experience in many aspects will be good or bad. Positive emotions always will create joy, happiness, good health, good relationship, what we call sometimes in sport being in the zone, where you always yourself and you know what you want and you don't do things because of what other things do or expect. Negative or slash victim belief system create always, without any exception, negative emotions which cause disease, stress, making unhelpful decision or wrong decision, manipulating others, and being manipulated. What do you do about belief? If negative beliefs don't do us any good, why do we have them? The main reason I describe it in my book, Unconditional Healing, and the lecture that I have on my website called Brain Regeneration that covers this subject. We live in a society that's, without realizing, based on victim belief system. And it's so ingrained in us that we don't even realize. Often we think our beliefs are helpful or good for us. Actually, they're opposite. But the reason we have any suffering in life and in society is the victim belief system, which means that we have control of our life. We need to hurt others to be on top, the win-lose paradigm. And actually, I believe that if you really think about it, all human suffering on the planet originates from this belief. If we had only positive belief, we would live in a society where everybody realizes perfection, his uniqueness, the fact that we're all connected, and the only way to exist in life in the universe is win-win. You always do the highest good, and the good for somebody else is directly related to your own good. Anything other than that harm both of us. If you understand it logically, you will realize that it's really a belief. And what is belief? Belief is just a way you focus on certain reality. You can look at the same thing and have negative belief or negative judgment and actually create stress and suffer. We can have positive belief, or at least non-judgmental, just observing neutrally without judging it, that you have total different experience. The first realization is that I'm not a victim. But when you have negative belief, you literally disconnect yourself from the soul. And another interesting fact is that in order to have good health, you cannot have negative beliefs. And the more negative belief you have, the worse you will suffer in life. And eventually, it will cause great unhappiness, suffering, illness, and demise. The emotions, which are carried in the blood, are the really key to perfect function. Obviously, because we usually learn the opposite to the paradigm is totally opposite to that fact, then we create suffering. Another thing that victim belief system creates, which is very interesting, which I realized from my working using different modalities, which I mentioned briefly later, is that the key to being ourselves and having the belief system that we are source, which we're not victim, is the ability to recognize ourselves and accept ourselves and our gender. That rarely happens, again, because the negative belief system we grow, which affect our parents and then affect us and then create unhappy events and emotional trauma for most people. All this suffering in the world doesn't happen because people want to be bad or want to be suffer, want to be sick, but they don't realize that they're actually creating it. And the bottom line to any healing, any improvement is really to get rid of the negative belief system that creates the suffering. People that have negative belief because it's so stressful, they found negative solutions to deal with it, like alcohol, drugs, codependent relationship, antidepressant, brain destroying medication, overeating, blaming others, and so forth and so on, which in turn maybe alleviate the symptoms for a while, but it actually create more destruction and disconnect us from who we really are. It makes more and more difficult, all these modalities, to be connected to who we are or to our consciousness and understand that what we're doing just doesn't work and could never work. People use many solutions to alleviate the problem, like meditation, religion, following a guru or spiritual teacher, counseling, and so forth and so on. And certainly these modalities are always helpful to one degree or another. The only potential downside is, for all the things that we use to alleviate stress, is that each one of us is totally unique. The way you experience life, the way you really see things, even if you believe that you're the same as others, your emotions of love or whatever it is will never be the same. All these modalities require us, since nobody that we consulting or we following is like perfect or is like Christ-like, because all of us have fault, including probably most, if not all, teacher gurus and so forth. They're great beings, but they're not perfect. So we end mostly inadvertently following somebody's belief, perception, understanding, which may not be who we truly are, fully at least. So we add accepting things that maybe are not in harmony with us, even though a lot of them may be. Another problem which stems from the same issue is that many belief systems which have a lot of goodness in them have been contaminated, mostly inadvertently, in most cases, with victim belief. So religion, philosophies, they create, maybe give us a lot of good information and positive things, but they also may use guilt, fear, in extreme cases, violence against others. All those systems imply or claim that they have the ultimate truth and salvation, and then other belief system will be inferior, that they know the only truth. The truth is that the only truth is in your heart, because we're all different and you have to find your own way. The optimal things to really find who you are, and it has to resonate with you. So you can, a lot of the system I mentioned could be wonderful to a certain extent, but they rarely, if ever, allow you to fully be yourself, to resonate with yourself. Therefore, if you can find a way to find yourself what's true for you and realize who you are from within, not from certain outside belief system, that potentially will be the most optimal way to go for you. Another manifestation of what I'm saying is, if all these belief systems and religions will be perfect, then we'll have perfect planet already, and everybody following this religion will be Christ-like or loving and totally aware that he's not a victim, and win-win paradigm will spread all over the planet, and we have finally perfect planet. If all these belief systems were true, whatever they are, without mentioning any specific one, we should have a perfect planet. We don't have, therefore that may not be the ultimate answer or the best answer. So again, if you want to explore it, which I highly recommend, read my book Unconditional Healing. I have a YouTube channel that explains on more details the things and other things. There is video brain regeneration on my website that also explain you the whole paradigm of so-called victim belief system and what it creates in our world and why. With all my realization and anything that I learned over the years and experience, let's say, with my patient, I finally realized there is a very simple way to find personally yourself in your own way, in your own unique way. Nobody else is like you in the universe, in the goodness and the perfection and the gift that you are, that to give yourself into the world. There is a way to do that, and that's really what it's all about, my tools. I just wanted to explain that you don't have to leave your teacher, your guru, your religion. It doesn't require that you adhere to any philosophy. You can welcome to disagree with everything they say and believe the opposite. You may believe that anger is good and victimizing others before they victimize you is the way to go. It does not require that you give up anything where you are today. Let me go ahead and do the process. I will have it on the monitor for people. Once it's recorded, they can use it, but you can find the text on my website under self-help and then go to healing relaxation and you'll have the text. Step 1. Imagine, visualize, feel that your blood is charged with unconditional love energy. And as the blood flows and is pumped through the heart, visualize your heart as a sun irradiating unconditional love, or heart of Jesus, or whatever you believe in, but see your heart like a sun irradiating intense energy of unconditional love. And as this energy irradiates the blood going through, your blood is filling with more and more of love energy. And just imagine and feel what happens with this energy of unconditional love filling your whole body, from the top of your head all the way down to your toes. Second step, mentally bring forward the intention to heal any physical ailments or health problems in your body. So for any issue that you have in your body or you suspect you have, organ, system, etc., for each of these issues, give permission to the involved area, organ, system, etc., to be healed. Thank them, these areas, for the healing. Thanks your body. And whatever is within your current belief system, you can thank your soul, God, Jesus, Allah, whatever, for the healing. And do it for any condition that you may suffer. Next step. If you suffer for mental or emotional problems, addictions, negative emotions like anxiety, anger, hate, jealousy, stress, whatever, if you need to, Forgive yourself and anybody else that may be connected to that issue. And after doing that, if you need to, go ahead and give mentally permission to your mind, brain, to release and heal these emotions and replace them with non-judgment, unconditional love, and compassion. You can do all emotions together or each issue by itself. And then thank your brain, mind, your body, and your soul for the healing. And thank whatever power, God, etc., you believe in for the healing. Next step. If you suffered from any emotional or physical trauma in your childhood or any time in your life, bring forward the intention to heal all those traumas. Mentally give permission to your mind, brain, body, and soul to release and heal all the emotions, energy blockages they have created on any level of your physical body and your consciousness, and replace them with non-judgment, unconditional love, and compassion. Again, if you need to forgive yourself or any other persons or anybody involved, you can do that too if needed. Then give thanks to your mind, brain, body, and soul for the healing, and thank whatever is in your current belief system, God, Jesus, etc., etc., for the healing. You can do it with any possible traumas that you ever had together, or just do it one by one as you go until they're resolved. Last two steps. Imagine, visualize, and feel what you would experience when all your family right now, your friends, co-workers, and everybody you meet every day are peaceful, full of unconditional love, compassion, peace, and non-judgment. Just feel that feeling and just let it be. This is the whole process, very simple, but it's only part of the whole thing. I suggest that people do this process 2 or 3 times a day or more, and I will explain some of the subjects that I covered. There's a reason for everything. Following this process, there is another thing that you can do, and it's really the key to success. The process I just demonstrated is really the introduction to your key to success. The next step that you want to do in conjunction, once you're familiar with these feelings that you experience, most people will experience at the end of the process, you put the intention and the action to allow yourself to get into this feeling every top of the hour and bottom of the hour for as long as you can. You choose to experience those feelings throughout the day, and mind that you can do any activity, work, communicate with others, drive, listen to people, anything you do, you can be in this state. You just need to choose to be there. Now, the idea is to, as you do it more and more and consistently, you find that it's becoming easier and easier all the time to be in this state. The goal is, no matter how long it takes, to be in this feeling all day long when you awake, and be in this feeling constantly until you do it for 3 months or more. After 3 months, you'll be automatically in this feeling because you feel so good and so wonderful, it'll be illogical to have any other feeling. I just wanted to note here that most people will feel some positive feeling from this process, but even if some people, for whatever reason, do not get what they want, they can easily choose to do something else, like think about pet they love, person they love, any event in their life they felt peaceful, loving, or any positive feeling for that matter. If they don't have anything, they can imagine something pleasant or inspiring or something they like to experience and just get into feeling. The feeling itself doesn't matter as long as you feel peace, love, compassion, thanks, whatever it is for you, it does not matter. But the key is to do it that way. What's going to happen, what I realized from my work, is this tool literally will automatically will improve things in your life. It's been proven scientifically that when you do this kind of things, you literally create nerve pathways, new nerve pathways that automatically would put you in very peaceful state, observing in the zone, so to speak. So everything gets better. Your body can heal much faster. And in addition to that, the negative pathway that you created from stress that automatically put you in stressful emotions or physically stressful, which cause illness, will be inactive or basically disappear. It will be replaced by new, literally nerve cells, and that's been proven scientifically, which is very interesting. In my view, even if you didn't do the process that I showed you, and just do that, they'll be fine. However, let me explain why I recommend the visualization. For several reasons. You cannot heal if you don't intend to heal. And because we believe that we're victim, instead of focusing on healing, we automatically run to the most of that without even realizing, get scared by the doctor or go and take poisons that basically poison and hurt us for the rest of our life. It does not heal. No poison medication is really healing. It may save us in acute situation, in super emergencies. It may relieve symptoms for a while, but it always be worse in the long run. Eventually, once you do this process, you'll know in your heart. You won't have to believe me. Somebody tell you to poison yourself to get healed and try to scare you with good intention like most doctors do. You will know in your heart and you won't listen. And you find, be attracted to, or realize what you want to do, or you find the right doctor, person, book, whatever to solve the problem. Things that will happen when you are yourself. As I mentioned before, it's very important to put intention and thank your body for the healing and repeat it consistently. Depends on what's going on. The other part, emotions, it can help a lot with relieving stress and releasing the emotions, which automatically will do you a lot of good. And again, you don't have to understand or analyze, psychoanalyze, or anything else. Just you need to do it long enough. For some people, it'll be a few days, but some people, a few weeks. It does not matter. I tell my patient, anybody really want to do that because nobody of us is saint or at perfect life. But if you have any challenge, whether it's relationship, emotional, physical, it behooves you. I tell my patient, do it as if your life depends on it. Just do it. Doesn't cost you anything. Nobody really can prevent you if you understand and can follow the process. The other thing that I do in the visualization is actually can create over time very, very deep healing, because a lot of the things that we do in life, that happen in life, which are negative, whether relationship, emotional problem, and illnesses, come from energetic traumas, emotional traumas, energetic traumas that start in the womb. So this actually build up, and our body can take a lot of energetic blockages and damage, so to speak, or eventually it cannot handle it anymore, and then disease develop, or severe emotional, or we attract all kind of suffering. By doing that, it's a very simple way to release whatever happened in the past that was traumatic. And the beautiful thing is you don't have to focus on the trauma or worry about it. Just put the intention and give thanks for the healing. Incidentally, There are other variations which I'll kind of give you some tips that can be helpful, which are very interesting. What I realized from my work that everybody had been traumatized energetically in the womb, in your mother's womb, because it's very unlikely that your mother was in bliss all her pregnancy and everybody around her was nice and kind. Okay, so all these stresses affect you energetically and actually create the main steps that eventually contributed to illness. Same thing, any problems growing up. And again, because your parents were not sane and most of their belief is good intention, mostly were in victim belief system, you got a lot of emotional trauma because it's not really who you are or they are. So you can, for example, tell yourself when you do the process, you can tell people, just tell yourself that if there are any trauma when you're in your mother's womb, you just put the intention that the trauma is healed and give thanks for the healing and so forth and so on. Same thing you can do if you have, like, your mother didn't breastfeed you or whatever. You just tell that you put the intention for your mind, body, soul, etc., to release all the energetic blocks and any healing needed from the traumas you have in childhood. And of course, if your parents divorce a specific thing, you work on that too. So let's just give you a tip, because I believe if you do it consistently, you can heal amazing things. And even if you don't know exactly what happened, you will feel the difference in your life, in your energy, and in your healing. So that's another tip. When you use this tool, if you benefit from it, that's really the only way you share it with people. Do it yourself. It's free. It's on my website. I'm going to have a video. Let everybody do it. It's the greatest gift that you can give yourself and indirectly to anybody around you, by the way, even if you don't tell them. I already seen that in some of my patients that try to do that, how family members very resistant, negative, become more and more open, more and more positive, and so forth. There are other tools that I give free on my website. There are tools in my book. The Brain Regeneration Program is very comprehensive, and some people will benefit from that if it resonates with them. I want to mention here Nutripuncture because I learned a lot from it, because Nutripuncture is an energetic modality that I explain in some of the lectures on the website, like brain regeneration, but also some information on my website. You can actually specifically go to traumatic event like sexual trauma, abandonment, trauma in the womb, and if you use this modality, if you can afford it and you have access to it, it can facilitate the process exponentially. However, I want to say, even if you don't have access, don't worry about it. Just do it. It'll work. It may take a little longer, but it doesn't matter. It will constantly improve your life. It's priceless. It's free. Just do it. Don't worry about any beliefs that you have today. Just do it. Nothing wrong with experience peace, love, non-judgment, and so forth and so on. Find for yourself what's going on. So I suggest that you do it and enjoy it and find out who you really are. Okay, so let me make another point which is very interesting that I realized. You probably know it's critical mass. It's something that we have in nature. Water is not going to become ice until it gets certain threshold of temperature, and so on and so on. But this also exists in consciousness. To explain it, I'll give a couple of examples. Very simple example that I'm sure most of us have realized at one time or another. Let's say you're very happy, joyful, go to your workplace, and everybody is upset. Before you know it, you get upset and everybody go home upset. Second scenario, you come to work very happy and you stay happy all day. All your coworkers that were upset this morning stay upset all day. You go happy home, they go upset home. Third scenario, you go full in so much happiness and joy, you come to the office and everybody's upset. Before you know it, after a while, all of a sudden, everybody starts to be happy, joyful, and everybody go happy home. Now what happened? That's a simple example. You see, when you obviously feeling is energy, you radiate energy. Okay, that's obvious. And when your energy is strong enough, all of a sudden, everybody else in the office get it without even you saying a word, and everybody is happy. So the same thing happened with in mass consciousness. What is mass consciousness? The consciousness of all humanity with all the belief, good and bad. The average will create either good, happy world, perfect world, as they say, or create wars, etc., etc. Obviously, if you look into it, you realize it's all the negative belief system, which actually harmful and illogical for everybody. But that's the way the world is. Now, what it will take for the world to change. Do 90% of people need to change? Happily, absolutely not. I give also the example from history. You remember the fall of communism. If you told anybody a year or 6 months that in 6 months or a year communism is going to be history, they'll say you're totally insane. But there was enough shift in consciousness. All of a sudden, everybody realized, hey, communism is absurd. Okay, why do we need that? Okay, so that's another example of critical mass in consciousness. Now, if you haven't heard, but that's also a very interesting example to that, around 1984, the Maharishi, the head of the TM movement, he said that if one square root of 1% of the population in the world, which was about 7,000 then, will do their advanced meditation, it will help the world bring peace, etc., etc. They have this university in Fairfax, Iowa. They did their meditation, the advanced meditation, whatever it is, for 2 weeks. And it was interesting because I was working in the emergency room then, and it was amazing because the emergency was half empty, the hospital was half empty. Never seen anything like that in my life. And obviously this was research, and there is evidence from all over the world that crime was less and good things were happening and less negativity and so forth. When I started to suggest this process, what I realized that when you do that, and then you can easily see it on, already on patients that do that, your family become more peaceful, more accepting, and so forth and so on. What do you think when you do that, it will do to your family, your community, and the planet? Just follow the instructions. Once you get to the point where for 3 months, all day, you actually automatically in this process, you whatever you want to call it, loving, cloud nine, in the zone. I'm not saying you don't have discernment. I'm not saying you realize what's not okay, what's okay for you, but you don't judge. Actually, instead of judging, you realize that you just send love and compassion. And actually, the people that are the most evil, they need most love and compassion because they're probably abused in childhood. And if you just do that, it'll affect them too. According to the TM people, Maharishi, how much is one square root of 1%? 1,000,000 is 317 people. 100,000 is 32 people. 300 million is 1732. 9 billion will be about 9,500, and 7 million 265. And the reason I put 7 million, that's about the population in Israel. And I've been in the process of introducing it to Israel for people to understand. And we have very good people that understand this concept. Just think what will happen. However, I want to stress, you don't do it for the world. You do it only for yourself. But automatically you realize that when you do that, not only you give yourself the greatest gift, but indirectly you give it to everybody else, starting with your family and so on and so on. You go in the front, if you don't know anything about holistic medicine, you want to see getting out of the box a guide to holistic healing. Then you have two good videos. One is healing your DNA with your heart. The other one you may probably want to watch first is a brain regeneration program. So I have brain regeneration video. If you want to get the program and consider it, it's free. So let me open the link. What I suggest that you do to get the program is to see the video on brain plasticity by Dr. Norman Doidge. It actually explains you beautifully how your thoughts, your consciousness affects your brain physically. And then Dr. Amen. You see this video of Dr. Amen, which basically shows you also how drugs, bad food literally destroy your brain physically. Then you do this two I mentioned, the brain regeneration and healing your DNA with your consciousness. And then once you really have the whole picture and you have better understanding, you're welcome to send me an email. I'll send you the program free. For the program, you can actually, all the things that you need that'll cost you is my book, which you can also get on Kindle. My book, Unconditional Healing, explains you about victim belief system, belief in reality, and how you create reality. But the third part have many, many different tools. So I give you options for many tools and then explain how you can use them. You see, for many years of work, when people were like in a boot camp situation for 7, 10 days, they actually work all day using all kind of tools or exercises to open the consciousness. This where I've seen amazing, amazing thing. But later on, I've seen also for people that took it seriously and do it themselves. So the program shows you how to either create your own boot camp, like doing it, take it 3, 4, 5 days off, nice place if you can, and just do the tools that you choose. You have choice of many tools, and it tells you exactly what to do. The other way to do the program is just to do it on the go. Now, what I showed tonight, it's a way to do it on the go for anybody, anywhere. Some people that by doing the boot camp program that I described on my brain regeneration program, it may be more efficient and want it be worth for them when they understand that to take week off, 3 days off, and really, really do it. It's like you probably will get to the point where you much easier to experience love, and so it may work for people that can do that or want to do that. Just an alternative. Anybody can do that. Then you have self-healing, and in self-healing I have, it's another tool, very simple short visualization, but 9 minutes or so. Also can teach you in a little different way to get into be in the moment, be peaceful, loving. And again, you can take this and use this as a tool to get into the feeling and just be like that all day. Then you have the self-help project, which is also a very simple tool. It's all about making the decision, the intention, and doing it constantly. Anything you judge, anybody you judge, in yourself, in your health, in your relationship, just release all judgment. So that also could be a very powerful tool if you do it consistently. And this healing visualization have been used for years. I had people heal themselves from cancer. We have specific subject, but the generic one, which you can adapt to any condition, is free. And I had people heal themselves just using that. I have people heal themselves just using the exercise in my book, Brain Regeneration. We talk about the healing relaxation. Actually, it's what we did today. That's probably the simplest. But again, we're all unique, so find out what's for you. You can do one thing and then change and add another things. It's really your journey, and you find out what you resonate with, where you have fun, what's easy to do. There is a really nice book called The Art of Soaring and the Power of Luck, deepsnowpress.com. It's a wonderful translation from Russian. All the guy is doing is telling people anytime there's something that bothers them, just shift their attention to something neutral, absurd, funny, positive, doesn't matter. If people do it consistently, they just focus their attention from the half empty to the half full or to even neutral. He described many, many cases, healing from terminal cancer, all kind of neat stuff. And that just shows you how it's really simple to manage your consciousness and change the old paradigm to the one that inevitably will be the future anyway. You can just be on the cutting edge for your own sake because you will benefit it, and eventually by you benefiting, realizing you change enough much consciousness to allow more people to be open and to wake up, so to speak, or whatever you want to call it. And then you have more videos relating to consciousness on my YouTube channel, and like the video that gets into more details how victim belief system cause you not to be yourself and become dependent on negative attention like drugs, codependent relationship, etc., etc. You don't really have to understand all the things, but for many people, once they really get it intellectually and they get it, so to speak, it's much easier to commit and motivate themselves. For most people, it's very helpful. But again, you don't even need to do that to find out. I hope everybody is clear. I mean, it's really very simple, the basic stuff. What I suggest is do it, share it with others. I'll appreciate any feedback. And just show you one more thing that I've done for years. It just evolved, and maybe I will put it in this program. The Better World Project was an old idea of mine, which I explain in my book, is that all you have to do to change the world, just get people, corporation, schools, any entities, just to declare, we do three things to make the world better. It doesn't matter what you do. You're nice to people, you smile to people, do something kind with no return, or just put positive things as part of your organizational or personal thing to do. And if enough people do it, it will spread like fire in mass consciousness. I didn't have the means to promote it, even though it could be a good idea. And people join and people do that. I don't know how many, never kept count, but what I may do, I would kind of make a list. You can be anonymous by doing this process. Once you do it for 3 months, I'll appreciate any feedback or experience, and I'll add you to the list of people that have done that. And just send me an email. We put you on the Better World Project list as honorary member. It's free, and you use pseudonym, initials, real name. It's up to you. So this video will be recorded and posted on the internet, so I invite anybody that understand and do it, just send me an email and share your experience if you wish, and if you want, we'll add you to the people participating in the Better World Project. So everybody is clear tonight?
Yes, yes, yes.
Everybody,
Yes.
good. Okay, so
Yeah.
enjoy it, have fun, share it if you feel like it after doing it. You're welcome to join our monthly webinar.
When is your next webinar?
The webinar usually do in the beginning of the month. It's usually the first Wednesday of the month. If any of you is not on my mailing list, just send me an email. If you have Gmail, because it comes from the mailing service, they put it in an advertisement folder. So you have to check that folder, and maybe I don't use Gmail, but maybe you have a way to remove it from the advertising folder to your regular emails.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.